Another video game review. Okay, there's a lot of Simpsons games out, ranging from early 1991 to late 2007. The most latest Simpsons game released was the Simpsons game. You've probably heard of it and even own it. So therefore, let's talk about the previous games that were released. At least the most earliest ones. I'm not going to be so quick to judge, but it is my favorite show. You've probably heard a lot of feedback about the game, so now you're going to finally see what it's about. Oh my, not looking too good. But I'm still not going to be too quick to judge. It's just a Nintendo. The plot's just ridiculous. Space mutants want to make the people their slaves, and they have this perfect machine. I'm not sure what it is.
Eat my shorts.
The best voice quality I recall from a Nintendo game. The first thing I noticed when I was playing through the game are the controls. The controls are just excruciatingly awful. These are the worst controls I recall from any video game in history. It's not as bad as Cobra Command though. It's much, much worse. Running and jumping both require the A button. It's not like Tony Hawk, where you hold down the A button to run, and then as soon as you let go, you jump. This is what happens when I hold in the A button. What a joke! How am I supposed to get anywhere with those controls? Okay, it takes a long time to get used to, but it is possible to get used to. Darn it! Well, once you play, you're gonna have to worry about this, but that's only when you get to this level. The only thing the B button does is increase your momentum when you're in the air. Now, if only they made the B button to run as well, then the controls will make a lot more sense. And there's a rumor that goes by that that's how Acclaim tried to do it originally, but they messed it up. Now the inventory on the bottom is messed up as well. The select button scrolls through your inventory, and the start button is used to use the item that you have selected. So for an example, if I wanted the X-ray specs, I would keep selecting select until I find it. And now I press start and look, it's working. Now, could you ever guess that there's an option to press pause? I love that because when I'm in desperate need to pause the button because somebody's calling me on the phone, I'm bound to take a hit or two. The whole plot for this game just doesn't make any sense. I forgot to mention this at first, but this machines that the Space Mutants are building requires an ingredient. Objects that are purple. So what do you do in the game to stop the Space Mutants? You collect the objects. If a group of terrorists were trying to flee the country, to Mexico or whatever, I wouldn't try going to every gas station in their paths and collect all the gasoline. Well, according to this game, you do. At first, the game may look simple. You just paint all the purple objects red. However, some are not as obvious, and some require money to do. Such as this one, for an example. That is something you're not going to figure out on your first try. I know it's The Simpsons, but the theme song is just annoying. But they shouldn't take it out, because then there would only be one song in the whole game. There are other songs, but they're taken from The Simpsons theme song. Bottom line, there's just no music selection in this game whatsoever.
Some space mutants are disguised as people, and by jumping on their heads, you receive a letter. If they're not space mutants and real people, you die. This is where the X-ray specs come in. If they have an afro, they're space mutants. If they don't, they're people. By the way, you don't have to collect those things, but if you do manage to spell the name of the person you're collecting, that person helps you at the end of the level when you're versing the boss. I like how this is the only part in the whole game you can throw cherry bombs. Half of the items in the stores are useless. You only need a fraction of the items to actually complete the level. Having to remember how many of each object you need is not something that's fun. Even if you do know how many you need, you still need to know where to use them. Oh crap, I'm out of fireworks. Now I have to run all the way back to the store and get it. Once all 25 purple objects are gone, the space mutants now switch to hats. There's about a couple trillion in the world, so good luck. Compared to level 1, level 2 is just so much easier. You just collect the hats and move on. I can say now that the game is actually enjoyable because there's no stress behind my back. Pretty much everything after level 2 is a lot more simple. And a lot more enjoyable. The graphics are just confusing. It's like this for Bart vs. the World as well. A lot of the building structures, the grass, the sidewalk, don't have a lot of detail in it. But statues and some other building structures do have detail. Just how am I supposed to get past that waterfall? It's impossible. Level 4 will drive you insane. Once you manage to pass all those platforms, it's impossible dinosaur time. I couldn't even tell you how to beat him. Shooting him's not working. Aside from the frustration of level 1, the only real difficulty I've had with this is just jumping on these platforms. The reason is mainly because of the controls. I noticed something on level 2. When you jump backwards, the enemies don't seem to appear. The space mutants and the bosses still do, but nothing else does. Once you complete level 1 a few times, the game isn't really that bad. It represents a decent side-scroller. Yeah, I got him. Well, stay tuned because this game has a sequel. Is it better? Well, all that will be decided next time. So be sure to be there when I'm going to review Bart vs. the World. However, as for this game, I'll happily say that I'll give it a B-. The game is no masterpiece, but it is enjoyable. But I'll say now that the main reason the game was such a failure to some people was because it doesn't make any sense. And that's one of the reasons my game suffered the rating of B-. See you next video.